Today on the FiftyNiner Winder Show, we're testing out some new camera stuff, so you get a wider angle, testing out some different sound stuff, so hopefully we get better sound. And we're going to compare this guitar, which is a 2013 Signature T model, with 57 Classics, so the 57 Classic Plus and the 57 Classic neck pickup. We're going to compare that with my PAF repros, the FiftyNiner. I've got a bunch of my guitars with different variations on the FiftyNiners, and we'll compare those and see what kind of sound differences we get, and then we'll have a weekend. So let's get started. So this guitar came in about a week ago with the complaint of it would get the perfect setup, right? Well, perfect setup, and it would start buzzing on only the A string, primarily the A string. As soon as you went up past like the 9th fret, it was fine up here, but it would buzz here, but the strings were really high, and it still buzzed over here, and the guy couldn't get it balanced, so he brought it to me. So I checked it out. I did the usual tests that I do, like trying to see, like, is it, because every guitar is a bit different, right? Some of them need a straighter neck, some of them need more relief than you would normally put. And it's just a matter of finding the right balance of where it likes the neck to be and where the bridge, the whole balance of the whole setup. And I tried a few different ways, with the jack straight neck and the bridge jacked up, and then more relief, and I couldn't get the buzz out no matter what. And then I tried it with the bridge way too high, so the strings were like this off the neck almost, and it still buzzed. There's a weirdness to it. So I measured the frets, right, to see like where they sit, and it looked like over here, like they were lower than up here. So I asked the owner, I said, it almost seems like there was some fret work done over here, but it wasn't followed through this way. And so you've got different heights of frets, right? So you can't get the right setup. And then he did say, oh, well, I did dress some frets over here, because, when you play a lot of like cowboy chords, right? You start to get a lot of wear, like dents in the frets. Like my guitars are all like that. I tend to clamp on and wear through frets fast. But anyway, so he had some little divots, so he dressed them here, but went so far down that you couldn't get the setup right. So what I had to do to this guitar is bring the higher frets down a bit, get the neck set up perfectly straight with a neck thing, one of these, right? Put it on so that you're not measuring the neck's straightness on the fret tops, but on the fretboard itself. So I did that, and then once I took care of this side, then I did a full level all across the board. And lo and behold, with nice low action now, there's no buzz. The saddle too was also filed down a little low, so it had like two problems going against it. Now it plays beautifully. It plays awesome. So that's not what this video is about. I just want to explain that. So if ever you get a lot of buzzing up here, but your setup is fine, and could be that these frets have been filed down and dressed, but too far down that you can't get a balance on the neck. So you might have to do, or have done, what I had to do to this. So now to the point of the video, we'll compare these guitars here. So this is a 2013 Signature T. They used to have a truss rod cover with a big T on it. And I remember when these came out, I used to drool over they had the trans black version of this. But I really quite like the tobacco burst now, and having this in the house for as long as I've had so far is starting to get dangerous, because I tend to find ways to just keep them. So locking tuners on this one, the Grover lockers. Very nice guitar. So 57 Classics. So what I find is, take this with a grain of salt, but I find with Gibson pickups, there seems to be a mid-range, not a full scoop, but the mid-range just isn't quite as sweet. So I don't know what the deal is there, because specs-wise, they're all pretty similar to, they're all within the PAF range as far as output and resistance, Henrys, inductance, all that stuff. This is a brighter, a hotter bridge pickup than the others that we'll compare by a little bit. And I believe the neck is too. So my 59ers typically are at about the 8 to 8.2 K ohms in the bridge. Works out to usually around, I think 4.8 or 4.9 Henry, something like that. And then my neck pickups, I usually wind around the 7.5 to 7.6 range. I believe this is more around the 7.7, 7.8, and this I think is 8.5 to 8.7, something like that. They're close. So we'll compare the tones. I believe the 57 Classics are Alnico 2s, which is weird because I find my Alnico 2s tend to sound more mid-rich, but the wind plays a factor in that. So we're gonna do just acoustic and stuff. I'm gonna hook up a mic. We're gonna do the DAW thing as well. We're just gonna do a quick off the camera mic thing in the room first, then we'll switch to the mic, and you know how I normally do it. And then towards the end of the video, I'm gonna splice the A-B so that you can kind of re-watch that part and get a more direct A-B comparison. So we're gonna get started with that. First, let's do an acoustic. So I'm gonna unplug here. We're gonna do an acoustic test, just to get a baseline of what these guitars sound like unplugged, because it does play a factor to the tone coming out of the amp. The tone is not entirely in the pickups. The pickups will filter and shape the tone a bit based on its specs and the magnet and all that. But at the same time, the character of the guitar does come through. So we've got this one. I've got my 2016 traditional T. No, it's not a traditional T. Yeah, it is a traditional T because they had the traditional T and the traditional HP back in 2016. It's a traditional, so it's very similar in build. This has a 60s slim taper neck. That one has a 50s rounded. We're also going to test it against the Gold Top, which is a 60s neck. It's a 2012 traditional. Reason being is that my 2016 has the Alnico 4 59ers. Gold Top has the Alnico 2. So the rough cast Alnico 4, rough cast Alnico 2 on the Gold Top. I'm not going to do the plain top or these two here because it's Alnico 4 on both of those. And I think the most direct comparison to this would be probably the 2016 Trad. So here's the signature T unplugged, okay? I was fighting with tuning because I don't tune before I start filming. That's this one. 2016 traditional. Okay, so that's 2016 Trad. Gold top. Pretty much the same spec as the traditional T, but it's a satin finish. Let's see if it's tuned. It's tuned. So this is the gold top acoustic. So that kind of gives you a baseline. What I find with the we'll call it the tobacco burst, the signature T with the 57 Classics is the tobacco burst. So the tobacco burst sounds more like this one in the body of the tone acoustically. That one's brighter, but it could be because the strings are newer than these. But it has a very good balanced tone. The traditional, the 2016, is a little less low end and it's brighter. So, and the strings are about the same age as this. So we'll grab that and compare that again. So hopefully the mic, the camera, whatever, picks up that acoustic difference in between the three guitars. There's definitely like a low end and a mid range in the other two that is more prominent there than this. And that's always been the problem with this guitar, is it just sounds a little thinner and brighter than all the other ones I have. But and a lot of times that actually plays in its favor, right? You don't want them all to sound the exact same. Okay, so now we're gonna do a quick plug-in without the mic on the DAW, just a quick run through of that. So what I'll do is I'll play the tobacco burst like sandwiched in between the other two. So now I gotta come up with some kind of riff. Okay, so we'll start with the neck pickup on here, just some clean chords. Middle. Bridge. Okay, same shitty riff, but with the tobacco burst with the classic 57s, starting with the neck pickup. And middle. Bridge. and the gold top. All right, so here's the gold top. Same shit riff. Middle. And bridge. All right, so we're back with the 2016 Trad. 50Niners installed here. These are the Alnico 4s. And we've got, so we're playing through the Bogner Ecstasy 3534. We were in the clean channel before, now we're in the blue channel. No boost, just a good amount of rock grit. And we'll go through the same guitars, then we'll put on a mic and all that shit. So, neck pickup. Middle. And bridge. Moving on to the tobacco burst. Tobacco burst, classic 57s, or 57 classics. Same shit. Neck pickup through the Bogner again. Same shitty riff. Neck pickup. Middle. Bridge pickup. And now to the gold top. All right, gold top, 50Niners with Alnico 2s. Started with the neck pickup. Same shitty riff. Middle. And finally, bridge. far what I'm hearing is a lot of the acoustic character of each guitar is coming through the amp, through the pickups, even though the pickups are pretty well very similar in spec. There's not a whole lot of variance, like it's pretty similar. The 2016 just sounds brighter and less low end. The mids are there, but the low end is not as big. Out of the other two, so the Gold Top and the Tobacco Burst, what I'm hearing is there's more low end girth there. I am hearing more like a sweeter mid-range in this one compared to the Tobacco Burst. But that's what I'm hearing in the room, right? Through computer, through YouTube, whatever. Well, it might filter a bit different. I don't know. We'll see, right? We'll see what you hear on the other end. But in the room, that's the character, the acoustic character of each guitar is still coming through, no matter what. So I guess now we're just gonna mic it up and do a bit of more shitty playing to see what it's like through a microphone, through a DAW, and then we'll call it a day. So I'll hook this up and I'll be right back. All right, so we're here with the 2016 Trad, Alnico 4 FiftyNiners. We'll start with the neck pickup again. We've got a condenser mic on the cab with the Bogner 3534. We're in the blue channel, no boost, nothing. It's going straight to the DAW. Yeah, some kind of shit riff. We'll start with the neck position on here. So here goes. Middle, same riff. Bridge pickup. All right, switch to the Tobacco Burst. All right, we got the Tobacco Burst, 57 Classic in the neck, 57 Classic Plus in the bridge, same shitty riff. Start with the neck pickup, the same rig, same everything. Nothing's changed, and I'm not doing anything on the DAW either. It's just recording straight in. That's what's going on in the video. So here we go, neck pickup. Middle pickup, middle position. And bridge. for the gold top. Alnico 2 FiftyNiners in this one. Same riff, same everything, starting with the neck pickup. Middle position. And bridge. So there you have it. I don't know if there's anything else we should do with this. Maybe some mic'd up cleans real quick. A bit of reverb on the, we'll start with 2016 Trad again. Okay, so 2016 Trad, we're on clean. We'll start with the neck pickup again. Middle. And bridge. Let's do the tobacco burst. Here's the tobacco burst. If you see me doing this, it's because I'm just making sure everything's on 10 before I start playing. All right, so here we go. Neck pickup, 57 Classic. And bridge. And finally, the gold top. Right, gold top, Alnico 2s, you know, same riff, same everything. I haven't even stopped the recording. It's still recording on the DAW, so that's all continuous. All right, here goes. Make sure we're tuned here. All right. Middle. High E might be going. It keeps tuning down. All right, bridge. Hopefully that did a pretty good job at comparing the different sounds from different pickups. They're pretty similar, really. I didn't hear a whole, like, it's just, the thing is a lot of these pickups, especially when they're within the PAF range, they kind of, they're all like different flavors from the same family. They're all very, very close. I found that the acoustic character of the guitars did come through. I found that the 57 Classic neck pickup was very bright, like a nice clarity, a nice brightness with a bit of grit. When we went clean, it would go a little dark. The bridge would be a little thinner than the other two, with clean or dirty. And then, yeah, and then the 2016 Trad it's just a naturally brighter, thinner sounding guitar than any other Les Paul I have, or this one, right? I do think that the one big thing that made this one sound really good is just the guitar itself sounds good. So pretty safe to put any pickup in here, it'll sound good, right? So I did find the gold top was closer in acoustic tone to this one, and with the pickups that are in that, they're kind of similar, but there's just a bit more mid-range sweetness with mine versus the 57 Classics. But the neck pickup on here had a touch more clarity. So I don't know if maybe the magnets that the Gibson is using, you're using a stronger magnet, and I'm using a slightly different Gauss on the magnet, so that you kind of get more of that like older pickup kind of thing. So I don't know, hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you had fun listening if you're even watching this far. We're just gonna keep doing this until I get bored of it, I guess. And we'll continue if the audience grows. So that's it for this video. Couple recap, not recap, but updates from the last video. So I'm still waiting on my shirts. So last video I announced my the merch section I'm building on the website, where you can get, you know, this or other shirts that I wear here. And I plan on having fun with the designs, make it fun guitar related stuff. But I did say I put in an order, so I wanted to test the whole process. So I can tell you what the process was like as a customer before you buy, so that you know what you're getting into. So far, I bought them last Wednesday, so it's been about 4 or 5 days, we'll say, to the filming of this. Today's a Tuesday. This will probably air on Thursday. Anyways, I haven't received it yet, but it's been shipped out. It's been partially shipped out, so I ordered 3 shirts. That cost about $104 Canadian. That's taxes in, shipping, and everything for 3 shirts. They're 20. I like a larger size, so mine were the $27. So 27 times 3, right, plus the tax and shipping, cost $104. One of the shirts didn't ship yet, probably because they didn't have stock on that specific colored shirt. So they're going to send it later, but it all still counts so far as the same transaction. So they're not going to charge me more, but I haven't received them yet. I was under the impression that they would print and ship from the closest factory or the closest warehouse. They have a few warehouses. I thought they would send it from the closest warehouse to the buyer, but I guess not, because the shirts are coming from North Carolina. So the jury's out for now on what the tariff thing is on shirts. I have no idea. Things have changed so much in so little time that even with the pickup stuff, I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that. So far, buying parts from the States and from Canada, there's been no funny business there, but it seems like a lot of people are holding off on buying from outside of their country. Just this whole uncertainty. So jury's still out on the shirts. They're being shipped, and I'll update probably in the next video next week when I've received the shirts and have better update on how the entire process from buying online to receiving the goods, what that experience is like. Because I don't want to just say yeah buy, but then have everyone end up in some kind of weird situation where they still don't have the product. So I want you to know exactly going in what to expect. So that's ongoing, and then so we'll probably revisit the 55 Magnetone next week, mic it up and stuff, and that's what we have on the horizon for now. So cool guitar, cool pickups. This is actually a really nice playing guitar now. If you're getting issues buzzing here, but the setup just won't find a sweet spot, measure the frets, like the fret tops. It might just be that they're worn out here and they've been dressed. Let's say you bought it used and they dressed the frets here to make them look nice and sold it, and then you're stuck with something that ain't setting up. Could just be the fret heights here. It's almost like it causes a hump. So no matter where you get the right action, like measurements and stuff, and it still buzzes, it's worth having checked if you don't know how to do it. So have fun, keep playing. Thanks for watching as usual, and we'll see you next time. Until then, I've been Jas. This has been the 59er Winder Show. We're still trying stuff. We're still doing this. Still don't really know fully why, but hey, the more the audience grows, then the more we have a reason to not question things. So have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.